What's up, everybody? DisThunder from thefoosh.com. I'm here to do a quick review of the new 1/12 Stab of the Hades figure, which is an unofficial third-party Deathstroke based on a MixMax body. And I figure we would open up with the obvious question, which is how does he look next to the official Mezco versions? And he is a little bit bigger. He's obviously more armored, but aesthetically, I think there is a lot of similarity. So while I've got these three poses in the background here, I'm going to go through the accessories just briefly. This is intended to be just a quick overview kind of video, so if you thought my edited videos lacked polish, boy, are you in for a treat. Let's start with, he comes with two rifles. He has this M16 kind of clone-looking one here. Has like an A1 fore end on it, but it's not any real rifle, and it's, you know, well painted, but not overly detailed. He also comes with a G36, like the Mezco ones. In fact, if I hold these together here, you can see they are practically identical. However, the Deathstroke, the Stab of the Hades does not have a bore dot hole for blast effects, and that magazine is not removable. And that also goes for the Arctic Warfare Precision, which again is nicely painted but damn near identical to the Mezco one. And while I don't think the Mezco one had a bipod, so that, hey, perk for the Stab of Hades. Same thing though, no blast effect adaptability there. He also comes with an unmasked head. Not bad, little cartoony, and I must confess, a little small, particularly compared to the Mezco one, but still not bad. And two helmeted options. There is the more classic looking head with a removable tassel. And you can see the sculpted eye there. But of course the real treat is the skull version, which I'm now going to bring in close for you, like so. And as you can see, it's a whited out eye there, and just hollow on that side. In fact, the jawbone is hollow as well, which is kind of weird, but it looks cool. And they interchange on a small ball peg, but I'm betting if I pull it off for you, yep, the ball peg likes to stay in the head, not the neck. Not a big deal, just something to be aware of and heat up before you make the change. For his stowable weapons, he has his staff, which actually is probably my favorite inclusion here. Even has some nice little orange details on the middle there, along with the silver and black. He comes with a sword, as any good Deathstroke should, and it and the sheath are a dead ringer for the Mezco one. He has a Desert Eagle that will sheath on the right side. No removable mag, although I bet you could do a blast effect in that one. And he also has just a small fighting knife that goes in the left side sheath. Before we talk articulation, I just want to point out the sheath pegs into a small hole on the back of his armor, and the bandolier also has a small kind of a notch cut out. You could slide the sheath in there as well, I guess, if you want it to do an opposite direction draw, because that peg does seem to be proprietary, going only one way. Let's talk sculpt and articulation at the same time here. You'll notice the armor has a nice carbon fiber-y texture to it. That goes all the way through the armor. There's some nice silver highlights for the scratches and dents. Good paint all the way around, really. And there's actually some metallic wear on his hands, which I didn't go through, but we can do that. The bandolier is removable, so if you so chose. And I believe that would also go for this sheath in particular. That one comes off pretty easy. His thigh drop holster is attached to the belt, so maybe not so much. This T-pose is as good place as any, because this is the extent of the shoulder range, as you can see here. These are on elastic. They are probably removable, so a stitch would have been nice to keep them up here closer to the top of his bicep cut, but there is a very clean double joint elbow bend there. There is a little bit of swivel at the armor piece, and of course a ball wrist similar to what we've encountered before. As you're going to run into in this figure, armor is going to hinder a lot of range of motion, so there is probably a standard double jointed torso in there. It feels like it, but you're not going to be able to use it. The neck, however, is pretty good, and you can see that interior piece is separate, so there are actually 2 points of articulation there. Hips, there are ball joints, and there are swivels. he's not going to beat really a wide stance because of these thigh armor pieces. He does have double knees. Just to be aware, though, I had to re-glue this. They're not pegged through the pants like you would see on a Mezco figure. So it's not the end of the world. Just keep an eye out that way if you drop one or something. That way you're looking for it. There is a boot top swivel. And then the ankles are done in a similar fashion to the wrists. I don't know how you can see that. They're tucked up in there. I'm not usually a fan of that, but it seems to work pretty well here. And he's got big, solid stomping feet, so that's good as well. I don't know how well I'm really showing the range of motion here. As you can see, he does have big guy syndrome. He can't really put his arms down a whole lot more than that. So that's a limitation of the body and the armor. But for a dude in a Juggernaut suit, it looks pretty good, and it moves enough to get some good wielding poses and such. Before we do a few more comparisons, just to get back to those hands, he has trigger hand for right. This would be a staff grip hand. The staff, I don't think I showed you this. It does actually have a breakaway part, so you can slide it through more easily. Yeah, relaxed grip and fists for the other hands. You guys know how terrible I am at that. And he comes with a couple of grenades that look, well, they look just fine. But more importantly here, let's do some quick comparisons. I'm going to slide the PX Deathstroke back, and we'll bring Supreme Knight side by side, and you can see that he's a pretty big boy. I like that size. The head looks a little small, which, you know, is okay, not overly so, but just, again, things to be aware of. For those of you who are not Mezco collectors, there is the trusty version 1 Stormtrooper, and you can see he's well over 6 inches in that regard. And lastly, there's Cobra Commander, who, despite his wearing pants, is still a factory figure, just in case you want to put him with your Classified Series figures. So as far as a recommendation goes, I think, yes, I could put Stab of the Hades in the recommend pile pretty securely. He's not perfect, and there is a few parts that you feel just a little bit sketch about, especially the weapons where they are direct list from the Mezco. But because that original Mezco Deathstroke is so hard to get, I see this as a viable alternative. And having both the other ones already, I know, flexing, it's nice to have this option as a more armored version. Might look good with like your tactical Batman or your Arkham Knight, something like that. And having those kind of options is always a good thing. I purchased mine from VC Toy Box. I cannot recommend them highly enough. He's always taking good care of me. Shipping takes a little bit of time because it's got to cross that big old ocean, but he always does a good job with it, and I always get my stuff in great shape. I do understand 5K Toys has them as well. Haven't had a chance to do business with them yet, but I've heard good things. So, you know, your pick on that. Whoever's got it in stock for the price that you're comfortable with, as long as it's still in stock. So if you're tempted, I would probably move quickly on it. That's going to do it for today. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good one.